you're watching The Form and we're looking forward to Wellington Cup Day out of Trentham this weekend. So the good racing continues, and to talk through all of the action, we've got our full team back in. Pleasure to welcome you back, Leith. Always a pleasure to have you here. Aidan, Leith, you enjoyed your holiday and we're looking forward to you finding us some winners today.
It certainly wasn't a holiday, Pip. It was full-on work, and it's good to be back here with the team.
Yeah, a lot of sales, a lot of horses to get through. Leith, it's been one of those periods, looked a busy racing time, but also busy with the sales, as Leith can attest to. But, geez, this is a good weekend, isn't it? Wellington Cup Day. It's not the Group 1 day that it's been in the past, and then a really good meeting with the reigning horse of the year heading around at Ellerslie as well, Pip.
Yeah, really, so much to look forward to, and a man that'll be really looking forward to the meeting out of Trentham is you, Bevan Sweeney. Good morning.
I'm sure it was really tough on the Gold Coast there, Lethal, in the sun. Great to have you back. Looking forward to the show. It is a culmination of the carnival, a very different carnival this year, but the turnovers are reflecting it has been the right way to go. The early meeting, first day, the big sprint was massive in turnover, and we look as though we're going to get a great track this weekend to wrap up the carnival and the Wellington Cup.
And that's what we want to hear. Bevan, cannot wait for it. So let's have a look what is coming up on today's show. And we will be starting with that feature, the Wellington Cup. On the undercard, also taking a look at some key races, including the Lowland Stakes. Then at Ellerslie, yes, we look forward to the two-year-olds going around in the Colin Jillings, our usual segments. And don't forget too, we head down south, really looking forward to the Gore Guineas, with that kicking off with a good field as well. So let's get into it. Weather and track-wise, that's where our feature will be down at Trentham. And as you said, Bevan, maybe we're getting some nice weather this weekend.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot to say about how this track will come up. It has raced very, very fairly in the last few months, in fact, and I think it's held up nicely. It's a soft 6 at the moment. There's maybe a shower this evening to come through. Nice day tomorrow, nice day Saturday. Look, we should be in that soft 5 position, at least, if not coming into a good 4 throughout the day, and that should be absolutely perfect for all horses on the day.
I love it. There's plenty of reasons to get down on track as we take a look at the market for the feature. Race number 9, the New Zealand campus of innovation and sport, Wellington Cup, where Rosso is your favourites, in from $3.90. Shibway at $5. Interpretation is back for another crack at the race at $6.50, and One Bold Cat at $8.50. The way that he won the Trentham Stakes, Bevan, and the weight that he gets in, you can see why he's favourite.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been a real find. He's been great throughout this preparation. He was good the other day. Look, I think the bookmakers have got it tight enough, this market, to be fair. There's not a lot of value across the top 4 or 5. Santa Catalina was good last time. I do like Trav at 12 down on the 53 as the only winner over 2 miles in the Auckland Cup, and very good in last year's Wellington Cup. And maybe Royal Flower, and what it did at its most recent start, is an up-and-comer into the race.
Look, I thought it was a pretty easy sort of map. Shebway looks like he's going to be a leader by default, just about. I'm a dirty rascal. Rosso's going to get a nice trip from the draw. Santa Catalina will get just behind the speed. Crouch, Mare of Norway, I thought, A-Rod.
There's not a lot to add. I think you've covered off the key speed pointers. Just how strongly will it be run? It didn't seem to be a really hard run, Wellington Cup.
No, it doesn't look like it's going to be a truly run sort of 2-mile race, so it's going to be a little bit harder for those backmarkers.
Okay, and it was a little bit like that last year as well. As we take you to the key lead-in race, it is the Trentham Stakes at Group 3 level. A handful coming out of this, Bevan, including, of course, Rosso, who actually drops in weight for this with One Bold Cat in the race.
Very good. It was a nice ride this day. Just posed it up a little bit closer. Everything says to me that he'll run out of true as 2 miles, and he's a very nice developing horse. Thought Royal Flower was great. I thought One Bold Cat was great, and I actually really like what Trav was doing late in this particular race out wide. But I don't know, you boys, this is a European star. Everything he's shown to us, and he's been talked about as a true blue 2-miler lad, so I don't think there's many concerns around him running out to the trip. And Santa Catalina, I thought, was pretty good out of that race as well.
Yeah, Rosso obviously gets a 53, goes a kilo over Daniel Stackhouse, so he's going to have a hard week. I saw him riding yesterday, and he had a very tiny saddle on for 56.5, one of the races he won on yesterday. So Look, he's got the breeding on his side. You'd think the 2 miles would be really right up his alley.
I think it's a key form line leading in, and like you say, Trav drops 4 kilograms out of that. It was going to be 2 for Rosso, but now we're hearing from Leith there just the 1. So that 3 kilogram swing when there's only sort of 3 lengths between them on the line. Maybe it does say that Trav's a chance, but I did like the few in there behind. I'm really happy that they've got one bold cat in there. I'd love to see him get his chance. He's a Group 1 horse in the race, which is great.
He's a big horse, so 59's, even though over 2 miles it's quite testing, but look, he's going super. You'd think 2 miles would be right up his alley as well.
And the other horse is Santa Catalina. All the form has been rock solid. Sectionally very good. The run in the Dunstan, 3 starts back was great, and the Queen Elizabeth Cup was a very good win.
Yeah, it really was, and you can see why he does grace the race form cover. It's only been a couple of horses that have won when they have done so. If you're on him, let's hope he can buck that trend and pick up the win. So he's on that if you want to pick up your addition this week. Also, we mentioned Santa Catalina coming out of that race. Let's find out from Peter Mackay how she's tracking.
Yeah, no, she's been really good. We're pretty happy with her run last start down in Wellington. She was finished on just nicely. So no, she's come through that good. So just hoping she can get the 3200, but I'm sure she could be competitive enough at the finish.
She's always indicated that she was looking for that. What's giving you the confidence that she's got the stamina to run out a strong 2 miles?
Well, it's this season she's had 3 wins over 2400. She stepped out over 2200 on her second start. She's always showed that she's going to stay, but it's a big jump from the 24 to 32, and sometimes finds horses out. But I'm pretty sure as long as she relaxes in transit, that's all you've got to hope for, and then if she does, she'll be competitive.
We know the Mackays have had a very good time at Trentham of late. Another horse that's been winning there, of course, day 1 of the carnival was One Bold Cat for Robbie Patterson. Let's take you back to him winning the Martin Cup. Very good here beating Shibway, but he is giving a lot of weight to a lot of contenders in this race.
Yeah, look, he's a proven weight for age, scalper as well. So I know he's got 59 kilos, but look, he loves the track there. It's not going to be a truly run sort of 2 mile race. I can't see a lot of speed in the race. So, look, if Grillsy can get him just in behind the speed somewhere, he's definitely a top 3 chance.
The one thing about him, he's a 1600 metre Group 1 weight for age winner as well, so he's got a turn of foot. So, especially if it does become, and it can often come like that. I know we saw a few mid-race moves last year, but this is a race that might just set up for him, and the sprint won't be quite so easy with 59, especially with some of these horses on 53, but geez, I've loved what he's been doing. Shibway, that was probably the race that sort of says he is a contender, but geez, it's just a tough race to win. Really.
Shibway's going to have that little bit of polish on him. Ellerslie got him a little bit of a fitness run last week. We've seen it before, so look, he looks like he's going to get an easy lead in the race too.
Yeah, look, I've got a question mark with him at the 2 mile One Bold Cat, but there's no doubting how tough he is. 59 kilos won't stop him. He's clearly going very, very well. Maybe not at his complete peak, but he is a competitor, so I respect his chances on Saturday. I won't have him on top in that particular race. Shibway, strong work at New Plymouth on Saturday, did 1 lap of quiet work and then did a decent amount of work as he builds into this particular race. He looked as though he couldn't get any fitter, Shibway, so we know what Alan does with these sort of horses. So wasn't disappointed with Crouch and Be Real in that particular race. I think they'll both be competitors as well in the Cup.
It's a race with a lot of depth, and of course Australian in here as well in interpretation. He took on the race last year, ended up finishing 7th, but he carried 59 kilos on that occasion. This time he's coming into it much better weighted off the back of this good third. Yeah,
look, this is a super run. He's a little bit held up there, you see, when he entered the straight, and you know he's going to get the 2 miles, and like you said, Puppy had 59. He gets 4 kilos off, 55 kilos. It's a winning weight.
He just seems to be improving too. Maybe he's a better horse this time round, and of course he went on and ran 3rd in the Auckland Cup last year. I think he meets Trav something like 4 kilograms better from that Auckland Cup when he was 3rd to Trav. So there's enough there to say that he can turn the tables. I thought he was a decent contender. Had One Bold Cat not been there, he'd have been carrying a little bit more weight, so he's in beautifully.
Absolutely. Look, the way the Australians are going over this part of the ditch, there's no reason to count them out. Look, he's running around in Bloomington and Caulfield, so he's clearly got a fair bit of quality over ground. So I definitely won't be counting him out. I think he'll sit midfield, get a bit of cover under Cartwright, and he's a player.
He really is, and he's at a good price as well. It's a Wellington Cup with a lot of depth. We have to find one on top. Leith, who's it for you?
Rosso for me, Pip. Just 54 kilos. I know Stacky's going to be 1 kilo over, but he's worth it. He knows the horse super. He's had 2 rides on him for 2 wins. 2 miles going to suit him. I think he'll be winning.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I just love what I saw from him last time out. He was he showed that sort of dominance, and he was terrific earlier on in his preparation as well. It's a tailored preparation for the Pitmans, and hopefully they get their reward with him.
Been with Rosso throughout, and don't take this personally, Pity, but I'm going to go with Trev, the local CD runner at $12. Loved his last 2 runs. The blinkers are on him. He's the only 2-mile winner in the particular race, taking out the Auckland Cup. He probably should have won this race last year. He was immense in this particular race. Slight question mark whether he is going as well as last season after the trip to Australia, but I've loved the 2 runs in. I think he'll love the 2-mile. 53 kilos, won't know himself, so I'm with Trev in this year's Wellington Cup.
He ticks a few boxes, and that does complete our look at the feature. We're going to take you to a break. Don't go far. We'll be having a look at the undercard off the other side. Welcome back into the form. We're concentrating on Trentham. We're taking a look at the Group 2 Jennian Homes Lowland Stakes here. A really nice field assembled over the 2,000 metres, where Origin of Love is the favourite at $3.30 from Crimson Sky at $4.60, and then Ariadne at $4.60. The other runner on that third line of betting. Is there any value for you in this market at all, Bevan?
I think Ultimate Habit's going well enough at $11. I love what Crimson Sky did last up, behind maybe 2 of the leading lights going into the Oaks, coming out of the James and Wellwood team. If I Give is also a little bit overs at 18 on what it did at Trentham a couple of weeks ago. But boys, not a bad field for this year's Lowland.
No, it's an even lot, and look, Origin of Love led last start. She looks like she's going to be the natural leader from Barrier 7 as well, A-Rod. If I Give was a good run last start. I think if they can be positive, she jumped out first last start and she sort of got brought back to midfield. Crimson Sky's maps to get a nice race.
Like the Wellington Cup, there's not a strong speed here, and maybe it is Origin of Love, who was terrific, like you say, from the speed at Ellerslie last time out. That gives her best chance of beating some really nice up-and-comers.
Okay, so that's how they think they'll be setting up. Let's take you back now to the Group 3 last time out. This is the Desert Gold Stakes, where Crimson Sky was really good here, Bevan, betting home a couple of rivals. She got flush wide, turning in by the eventual winner, but very good to the line.
Love this horse. I love this filly for Adrian Clark. I think the better the track gets, the better this filly will get as well. Her performance at Counties from nowhere was fantastic. So very, very keen. If I Give is very, very good as well. In the Nichols colours, you can see the willingness to be in the fight there. And I do think Ultimate Habit is an improver, but that was a very strong form race going forward, lads, and she was as good as the winner, really, in the run to the line. So I think she's got a lot of staying potential for the Challenge Syndications team.
Yeah, I think the best thing out of that race is both those horses that we just previewed, where 2,100 metres is really going to suit them as well. They've got breeding on their side. Vencedor, Ariadne and Crimson Skies and Ocean Park. So the step up to 2,100 metres is really going to suit them both. Yeah,
I'm really liking what Ariadne's doing. Just seems to be a horse who's progressing nicely. This Lowland's always been a key guide to the New Zealand Oaks. It has changed this year, though, a little bit, hasn't it? With Sunline Vast, we moved to the spring, and the race been brought forward a couple of weeks to a different venue as well. So
yeah, and obviously the New Zealand Oaks now is at Ellerslie.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot that's different these days, but what's not is Te Akau having a good chance in one of these races, and they've got Origin of Love to catch up with Sam Burgesson, and just saw how she's tracking since Ellerslie.
Yeah, really good. She's just continued to get better and better each run this prep. She's a really good doing filly. We've given her a tick over trial here on her home track in the group enlisted trial there last week. Really pleased with her, and if she just settles a little bit better, confident she should run a really good race.
She's got that tactical speed. Will you look to use it again?
I think so. Obviously, we'll have a look when the draw's out and make a bit of a plan with her. Like I say, we'd just like to see her settle that little bit better, especially, at the 2100 metres, she sort of needs to do everything right to see out a trip like that. But looks to have found a nice race.
Okay, and summer in London as well. What can you tell us there?
Yeah, she was really good here on her home track, over 2,000 metres. We're confident she can stay the trip, and she's got the miles under her legs now, and she's backed up really well from Matamata. She's come through the race really well, and I think it's a good opportunity at black type for her, and fingers crossed she can put her best foot forward.
And Sam mentioned this trial. Here she is in the group and listed. You're pretty keen on her, Aidan. What did you make of this?
Yeah, I just like what we saw, just from a horse who's got tactical speed. I think that's a key element in her chances here. Yeah, obviously a horse who, I thought the Ellerslie run was terrific. It was a race that did favour those coming from further back and running, but she's done really well. I thought this was a nice tick-over trial left too.
Yeah, just a nice fitness effort as well.
Yeah.
And look, she's had a hard enough campaign. She's been up a long time, but Tiaka know what they're doing, and just interesting to hear Sam Burgess says that they probably won't lead by the sounds of it. They might just take a sit on it.
I guess that's always the case when you're stepping up in distance, but then when you step up in distance, you get that sort of situation where horses don't want to be put into the race mid-race, so you're wanting to get a softer run as possible, and so there's always an advantage on speed. See it time and time again with the Waikato Guineas when those horses are getting ready for a derby, and this won't be too dissimilar, I don't think.
I'll be blown away if this horse isn't close to the lead, or very, very close to the lead with Bruno aboard. That's his sort of generic spot. Bruno, who loves to be forward in the run. I did like their performance behind I Hope He Wins, who's had so much sort of investment in, clearly from overseas. There's been a fair bit of that. Felipe Schnitzel was interesting. Getting up to an Oaks trip will be really interesting, but clearly ran a strong 2,000 metres at her last start. So she's got to be a major player in what the exposed form shows to us.
Yeah, she absolutely does. A stable that's in really good form at the moment, though, is, of course, Roger James and Rob Wellwood, and Aidan did catch up with Roger James to see how his two chances are tracking.
I thought their work was solid yesterday morning. Ariadne's a filly that we've had labelled for these sort of races for some time, and it's exciting to get her up to a trip that will be more suitable for her. Rockadonna, her last run was, I thought, very, very good, and she deserves an opportunity at this level.
Yeah, the middle distance obviously looks as though both of them really suitable for this weekend.
Yeah, you would think so, and looking at the noms, I don't think the field's come up overly strong, so I would be very disappointed if they're not both competitive.
As an Oaks trial, what are you looking for from each of them this weekend?
Well, you'd like to think that they were in the first three if they're going to be Oaks horses.
He certainly would, and just hearing there from Roger James, he's thinking Ariadne obviously will suit stepping up to the 2,000 metres. This was a really nice third because she actually comes together there with the Mackay runner prior to the line. Yeah, look, it's a really good sort of line going up to 2,100 metres. She looks like a real sort of staying sort of filly as well. This was a pretty strong field. Obviously, Arthur was outside of there. He's won a maiden 2 weeks ago. Terra Vision, so it's a really good form race. Oh, I think so too. Sweet Ice has gone around on Karaka Millions Night and run with credit. Yamoto Satona's one of the best sectionally in the race, and Ariadne's finished third, and behind probably what looks like a key derby contender in Towering Vision. I think it's very good form from one who's just finds the right race. I thought she was awfully hard to beat here, Ariadne. She's got to be a big factor, Bevan.
I think she's taken a step, though, in my mind, into this particular race against a couple that have been in some decent sort of company. Hey, the ownership group have had so much success out of this stable with Ronnie Dixon and Fran that they've always got a decent staying 3-year-old around them. So no doubt about it. James Wellwood team on fire. Just a step up, but yeah, I can see the horse winning, just the way the stable's going and the way the horse has produced in the last couple. Absolutely, and a stable that has two runners in again is Wexford. They do have in Clara Bow and the Ritz. Let's find out how they're going from Andrew Scott.
Yeah, a couple of maidens. We've won Group 3-year-old fillies races with two maidens recently, and not necessarily we thinking these are just going to go out and win the Lowland. It looks a pretty strong, even lineup. The Ritz, look, her last two runs in maiden grade have been pretty solid against the older maidens, and she hit the line well at Te Rapa, and she should stay the trip well. Clara Bow only just got nutted here at Matamata last week. Fit filly coming out of a mile, first attempt over ground, but she's genetically bred to run the trip. And we think she's pretty forward and she's going to be in it. So hopefully both of them are looking for some valuable black type because they're both well-bred fillies. But no, we're confident they're going to stay the trip well.
Yeah, I'm off the Roger James and Robert Wellwood trained Ariadne. I think the step up to the 2100 metres is really going to suit. Their horses travel well as well, and the Dixons, it's their home track there.
Yeah, I was just tossing up between Ariadne and Origin of Love. I think there's nothing between them. I thought they were probably the main two class horses in the race, but I've gone with Origin of Love. I thought the map was just a little bit more suitable here. Bevan, how about you?
I'm surprised you said the two class in the race when Crimson Sky was fantastic in very strong company at Trentham in its most recent performance over the mile. So that's where I'm going. I think Crimson Sky can win. I think there's a touch of class here. There's a bit of staying blood there with High Chaparral, the Dam sire as well. So I'm pretty happy with Crimson Sky actually at the price.
Okay, so that's a look with the fillies. Now we're moving on to race number 7 on the program. This is the Remutaka Classic, sponsored by Life Direct, and our favourite is the Precursor at $3.30 from Roctave at $5 and Sneak Peek at $5. You agree with this market, Bevan?
Yep, I do actually. The Precursor, I think, is building to something really good, big, strong horse. You won't see a bigger fella around the racetrack. And gee, it was a tough effort last start at the 1600 metres at Ellerslie, being caught 3-4 wide the trip and kicking on to be only beaten inside length. I thought there was a really, really big performance. So I'm led towards that horse, but if you want to go outside that, I'd say absolutely no idea because there looks to be a million chances.
Can't say that. All right, well, let's find out firstly from his trainer, Roger James, how the Precursor's going.
Look, he's a lovely big horse. He's probably one of the biggest horses I've trained in my whole career. He's 17.5, hands high. But lovely, kind horse. Staying will really be natural for him. And his form line looks very good.
Yeah, what about his preparation here on the training track? How's it been leading into this weekend?
He's a big casual fellow. He doesn't do a lot, but he also doesn't take a lot.
Let's take a look at him at Ellerslie, and as Bevan said, you know, he was wide the whole way. He's really worked into it and just been caught probably just at that.
Yeah, look, it was a sort of really good sort of run game to Remutaka Classic. Obviously, the step up to 2100 metres is really going to suit him. And look, such a big horse that we heard from Roger James there. You know, Wellington's going to suit this horse so much better than Ellerslie.
Yeah, absolutely, the big horse. But by all accounts, he's quite a nimble horse. He doesn't sort of race or train like a big horse. Roger said when we spoke to him after speaking to him there, actually, just Call Me Johnny wasn't the worst either in behind them. And I don't know if that's going to be the worst form line leading in.
Oh, he's just a cool horse, isn't he? Saw him in the Central Districts. He's clearly transferred up to Roger James. Look, he had a weak race, fresh up, and won that with a fair bit of authority. I know Stephen Hunt's very, very keen on this particular horse, and I was taken by that performance. The gate sort of ruled him out as a winning chance, as you saw in the run, but gee, everything he showed there is that he'd run out the 2100 metres strongly, and he is a giant.
He is a giant, so as Leith said, Trentham should suit. Stephen Marsh also has 3 in the race, and Aidan did catch up with Ash Thompsonson, and firstly just asked how Roctave is tracking.
Oh, yeah, he's done a heap of work at home, and yeah, he's just a super horse. We were all surprised in that last win, so yeah, he should be a really good horse on Saturday to beat.
Have you been a little bit disappointed with the run since, or what's the take on him?
I wouldn't be too overly disappointed with him. He's been quite consistent for us for the past 2 seasons, so yeah, he's going into it very fresh and happy. So
looks like a nice race for him. You've got Sneak Peek in there as well. The run on Karaka Million is like huge, especially on the clock. What did you guys make of it?
Yeah, it's massive. She's been a great filly for us. So yes, she'd hopefully just has freshened her up even more so for that race on Saturday.
And the trendsetter probably also runs in their race. How's she?
Yeah, she's great. Has come out of that last race really well, and yeah, she's another exciting one going into the weekend.
Three key chances there, Leith. Do you give any of them a go?
I'm actually with Sneak Peek, Pip. The Precursor's a very good horse, up and coming stayer, but I think Sneak Peek, if you go back to his race when he ran just behind Tuxedo, he was only beaten just under 4 lengths, so I think that's the key to the race.
I thought it was just a terrific performance from Sneak Peek the other day, and it was a race that really did clearly favour the swoopers. I thought Sneak Peek was just a really good performance, and obviously it is a quick backup, but on that run, geez, it's got to be a decent chance.
Look, I think they're both good chances. I actually heard Marshy on the radio yesterday driving up to Waverley, and he was very, very keen that they'll both be big improvers into the race. I think it's really competitive. There's some really nice... Indiardi's a nice stayer as well for Kelvin Tyler. My girlfriend, latest model's been going great runs in the last couple of starts. So, look, it's a decent sort of race with some nice stars in it that might emerge into the Cup of next season.
Okay, so that's what everybody's liking in the Remutaka Classic. Now we're moving on to the open 1200 metres here, and here is the market. The Mode Technology, Archaic Smile $3.80, Brickton from $6, Navigator $3.90, and Merchant Queen on that third line of betting at $3.90. Let's take you back to the Telegraph, where the Navigator, boy, he was very good here, just beaten by a nice one, Bevan in first 5. Has to carry a bit of weight though, one of your favourites.
Yeah, the only concern that I'd have about Navigator, if it gets too firm there at Trentham, just needs that little bit of cut out of the track. This is a very good performance. Now, it was on speed. You'd have to say that not any horse really made up any ground outside of maybe Grail Seeker, who ran home in good time. And the horses behind these first two were running very, very quick last 600 metres, so that indicates how tough it was to run on. But I think the best version of Navigator with a little bit of sting out of the track, even with my old favourite Archaic Smile in the race, would be winning.
Yeah, I think so. 62 kilos. Look, he's got a little bit of a tricky gate in gate 9 as well. And there was a bit of a sort of a faster strip on the inside that day, I reckon, as well. So, look, it was a top run. I can't quite have him on top this week, though.
There's a 6 kilogram swing in the favour of Slipper Island, who's won 5 of 8 at Trentham, and Slipper Island's only gone down 6 1/4. Navigator's gone down 1. So there's 5 kilograms, 5 lengths on a 6 kilogram swing. So that suggests there's not a lot between them. And then you've got to sort of factor in. I thought the grey runners, but I've gone to the top of the book. I've gone with the toppy. I thought it was a yardstick performance, and I'm sure he's an improver after that first up run. Real respect around Slipper Island, but Navigator goes on top for me.
I'm going to go with Navigator. I saw Costi Cody yesterday. He was very, very keen around Navigator's chances on Saturday. He was just a bit concerned if it got really on the firm side with the horse who's got some sort of historic problems. But look, you can't take anything away from a Group 1 second at Trentham leading into what you'd have to say is a markedly weaker field.
Okay, so the Navigator for both the Aidan and Bevan. Leith,
I'm going to go Slipper Island, Pip. He loves the track at Wellington, and just at the weights, 56 kilos, he gets in super, and I know Tony Pike's super happy with him.
Okay, maybe I'll just take the Cornell. That's a look at our features. What else can we follow on the program, Leith? You got one for us?
Look, I'm going to go early on the day. Miss Jones, race 1. Obviously, she's got 58 kilos, but she won super last start, and she's flying at the moment.
Yeah, I've gone the same horse, Leith. I thought Miss Jones was a great way to kick off. Small field, tactical, and a horse who's gone Ellerslie win into a Trentham win and looks to still be improving. So, yeah, no argument with me there.
I'll go into race number 3 in a horse called The Big Picture. Craig Grills rides for Bill and Sam. I thought this horse was very good at Trentham last time behind Quello Dolce, who just led up and kept on kicking. I think the 1400 metres is the key. The horse will get back. Expected to be booming home in race number 3 on the program.
Okay, heaps to follow there out of Trentham. We're moving from that to trial files back this week. And Leith, who have you found this time?
I'll take you to Sydney, Pip. Lady Shenandoah. You'll see her here in the Hermitage colours. James McDonald on, and look, she was just jogging here. Look, this is a really nice, easy sort of trial, and look, there'll be a race for her in the next sort of couple of weeks, and may I say it, she will be winning.
Yeah, look forward to seeing her back. I know she's one of your favourites too, Lee. I've changed it up. I've gone, rather than a trial, gone to a track work gallop from Ellerslie last week. So obviously the horse on the right-hand side here is Well Written, who comes out and absolutely produces one of the best performances we've seen in a long time. And you're just thinking, who's the chopping block? Well, it's not a chopping block. It's the Exponent, who's run quickest last 800, 600, 400, second quickest last 200, and each of the last 2 back. and really keeps well written up to her work here. I thought it was a terrific trial for what's coming up. I know, you know, well written's under a firm hold, but nonetheless, it's a really nice gallop from the exponent.
Yeah, he's good for the line there too.
$12.
Interesting. Worldwide, this one for Sue Thompson and Mick Brown, and for Colin Whiteman. I thought this trot up immense at Foxton. Hello, Yum Zane, 3-year-old, expecting it to run a race wherever it goes on debut because that was soft.
Yeah, very impressive. So here is a summary for the trial files. Make sure you note them down. Lady Shenandoah for Leith, the exponent for Aidan, and Worldwide for Bevan. And that does mean it's time for another break here on the form. Off the other side, we'll be taking a look at that feature out of Ellerslie. Welcome back into the form. Before we get you off to Ellerslie, we found more Blackbookers for you to follow. Who was really unlucky for you, Leith, or who stood out?
Unlucky, yeah, I don't really want to watch it again. Pip, it sort of is it all here. Never got to run the whole way up the straight. This is one of those horses that's been unlucky in about his last 4 starts. So he's due a winning turn, and I think there'll be a nice race from coming up in the next sort of 2 weeks. And the punters have been backing him lately. Just keep following.
Keep following. That's the story. I'm going to take you back to Karaka Millions night. I wanted to find one from here, but this was an absolute standout performance of mine in a race that was clearly swoopers. There's only this is the only horse in the first 6 and running to finish in the first 6, and she finishes second. Hinikaha. I thought against the race shape, she was simply superb. She was a Group 2 winner leading in, and maybe does she go to a Herbie Dyke off the back of this? Certainly good enough on that performance to get back to Tarapa.
She loves the track there too, don't she?
Absolutely. I thought it was just a brilliant performance.
Gee, I thought you would have been on She's a Dealer. That was immense, and you're tipping it out last week. Look, it'll be winning as well, A-Rod, wherever it goes. I don't want to watch this back from yesterday either. This is Wigmore going to the Derby, 16 to 26. Should have won. Absolutely should have won the 3-year-old against the older horses. Has a fair bit of ability, Wigmore, for Kaylee Myers.
Ouch. I'm going back to the same race actually as Aidan with Moxie, completely different, comes right from last, right down the outside, best closing sectionals in the race. I probably didn't expect her to be backing up so quick this Saturday. She comes up in a really strong race, but either way, I think she's got a really big win.
Yeah, it's a bit of a good form race. Even Checkmate was unlucky in the race here as well.
Oh, lots of super performances, and that was typical of the night.
It certainly was, and here is a summary. You can see our Blackbookers down the bottom of the book. Hopefully we've found you some winners quickly too, with some of those coming up on Saturday. Right from there, we're going to stick with Ellerslie. Yes, we're back there again this weekend, and looking forward to a 2-year-old feature. Leith, we got a bit of rain around last week. Better this time?
Yeah, look, it doesn't look like there's any more rain coming, Pip. Maybe a little shower this afternoon, but look, you know what you're going to get at Ellerslie. You're going to get this nice soft 5 to begin the day, and the rail's out for 7 metres from last week.
When you consider how much water they had, rained on it last week, they'll have to be putting a fair bit of water on to retain that measure.
Obviously the track played so fair last week,
didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. So as we take a look at the feature, it is race number 4 on the program, the Colin Jillings 2-year-old classic here. Harvey Wallbanger, $2.15 favourite. He's been backed in already from $2.35. Singletary at $3.30, and then Ligera at $6.50. He's been very good, Harvey, Bevan, and he deserves to be favourite.
Surely this is your price of the weekend. If you got the 235, it's Christmas. 215 still pretty good for me. I'm not sure how much time we spend on this particular race. Singletary was okay behind Stromlinian, who was okay, the Cracker Million, but gee, Pikey will start getting concerned, lads, if it doesn't get up this week.
He will be. Look, I think he'll be taking the $2.35 already. He's knocked that price off pretty quick. Look, he just maps on barrier 2. He's going to have all chances this week. It does look like a little bit of speed outside. Apache Warrior sort of led first start, state the obvious. But, being a 2-year-old race, Harvey, he's just going to get that perfect gate from 2. He's going to be awfully hard to beat.
And one thing, we'll hear from Tony very shortly, but he's unconcerned, really. He said he can't win from anywhere here. Obviously, the price has skinnied up a little bit with the scratching of Tion Quintro, who did look to be the main danger on paper.
He really did. All right, well, let's hear from Mr. Tony Pike and see how he's tracking.
Yeah, couldn't be happier with him. Worked really well on Tuesday morning. Rory came in to sit on him, and yeah, look, he's flying. He just needs a little bit of luck in his races. Obviously, yeah, probably had a couple of very tough trips this last 2 runs, so a little bit of luck on Saturday, should be going very close.
Yeah, he looks like he's got any amount of ability. How highly do you rate him?
Yeah, he's probably one of the better 2-year-olds we've had. I think he's only going to get better too as he improves later into the season. So, no, exciting horse going forward.
It does seem to be a really nice fit, this race for him. Where could it lead to?
Look, we'll probably get through this and then head straight to the Diamond Stakes at Ellerslie. That's sort of the race we've targeted all the way through for the Wentworth Grange boys. So, as long as he runs well on Saturday, that'll be his next run.
I know things haven't gone right for him early. Where would you want to sort of see him in the run if you did draw the right gate this weekend?
I don't think it really matters. For a 2-year-old, he's not normally brilliantly away from the barriers. It would be nice to draw a soft gate. He's drawn wide his last 2 starts. But look, if he gets back in the field like he did his last start, I think as long as he just sort of sits and waits until they straighten and doesn't cover the ground that he has in his last 2 runs, yeah, that'll be fine.
And he certainly did cover the ground here, but he was very good. He's been beaten by 2 nice horses that took their place in the 2-year-old Karaka Millions.
Yeah, look, the form's out of the race. Look, Ivy rode a really good race here. It was a clever ride. Matt got exposed. He got left there sitting dark, and he's only just gone down. So, look, from barrier 2, he should be just winning this week, I thought.
Yeah, the horse in third is Parfait de Montre, who's chased him home in every single one, but she's been really good each time as well. That is the query, though, isn't it? The format of that eclipse and like Kinneard, and even going back into She's No Saint, it just hasn't really stacked up from last weekend. You'd love to see one of those.
What do you
two
make
really
of the
do
2-year-old
something.
race at Cricket Millions? They ran 2 seconds slow.
They did go slow.
They went very slow,
really
so it was a bit of a
slowly.
non-event too.
Yeah, perhaps, but
Diarmas was the one that beat him at Counties, and she was very
exactly
good
right.
at that.
And so the form around Harvey Wallbanger previously is solid enough. You know, even from the debut performance, when you're beating home horses like the sort of staked and those sort of horses, just going back into it, beat home. Sort of Stars was a horse in Parfait de Montre, and you know the Speed Demon, who's been a winner since as well. So there's enough around him, and he just does, like as Bevan said, picks himself here.
Look, the Diarmas form is the best for the 2-year-olds in this country as far as I'm concerned. Look, with all due respect to McGill, I was stunned at the 200-metre mark that he was still in front. He went immense. He went about 100% above my expectations, McGill, because he's not very long. He's pretty quick over 500 metres. He was still kicking at the 200-metre mark. If he had the field and the quaddie, you're pretty excited at that start. He got run down, but I think the Diarmas form is the strongest. Harvey Wallbanger has that. I think he wins.
Okay, but another chance in the race, who's in the market, of course, is Single Terry. He's already had that look at Ellerslie after running second to Stromlinian, and they both come right off the speed. He looks a nice type.
Yeah, look, this is his first race day start as well, and to get round Ellerslie as good as he did. Look, Opie on this week. Barrier 9's a bit tricky though, but I know the horses stayed up at Cambridge, so he didn't have to travel back to Otaki either.
Yeah, exactly. I went looking for Andrew Campbell on yesterday morning, and just couldn't find him there, unfortunately, to get a grab. But this horse has run quickest last 8.64, second quickest last 200, and it was just a really nice performance. Once again, Zaharia's maybe not just pushing that form line ahead, nor did Stromlinium out of that race, but it was a really nice debut, and you know, I think a horse who looks now, especially with the scratching of the filly, to be the main danger to the favourite.
Just makes me more excited to see the tour of Robbie Patterson's by, I think it was Al Rocker, that beat Single Terry home at the trials with the league tied up. I'm going with Harvey Wallbanger. It's been pretty much explained why. His form, best form, and should be winning just over $2.
Yeah, Harvey Wallbanger, I thought he was a sort of $1.80 sort of price. Happy to be on this week. Pope should be winning.
Single Terry and Parfait de Montre bring in good form, but I think really it is Harvey's time. So I'm with Harvey Wallbanger here.
Okay, I think most of the country, by the sounds, will be on Harvey in race number 4. From there, we are going to have a look at the other feature on the program. It is the Fulton Family Stakes here. Race number 8 with Jaffe is $4.60. Our Vencedor at $5. Frostfair at $8. Moxie is on the quick backup at 8s. And What You Wish For at $9.50. This is a very nice race, Bevan.
It is, but I understand Jaffe being at that quote. I think Jaffe's the one you want to be with. Just always needs a little bit of luck. I think you see the best of El Vencedor at his next start. You've mentioned Moxie as one to follow as well. Whiskey and Roses always gets me a little bit in a race like this, but I think they've got the market right. What about the map, lads?
Yeah, look, I thought it was a pretty easy sort of map. Leroy Brown from barrier 16, he's no rider on yet, but he missed the kick last start, and then he sort of, you know, what Leroy does, he gets going.
Yep.
I thought Vencedor gives Opie options from barrier 1 with 62 kilos. Does he sit in the trail or does he lead? You got those back markers, Moxie, Jaffe, Whiskey and Roses are going to settle back behind midfield.
Remember what Vencedor did in this race last year. He was sublime, and it really was his platform to then kicking on. I agree. It's Leroy Brown to lead, but there's enough pressure here. I thought, especially in the big field, that there might be a little bit more pace than it looks on paper.
Okay, so it's going to be interesting as we take you back to the Group 1 Zabeel Classic, where Jaffe beat home Vencedor on this occasion. Obviously over the 2,000 metres, she drops back to the mile here, Bevan. She was very good once she got out, though, hitting the line, and we know she loves Ellerslie.
Yeah, the less we talk about the race, this particular race, probably the better. But look, on a slow tempo, you just have to be caught by the performance of Jaffe and maybe the disappointing effort of Vencedor. So out of this race, you just always have to point towards Jaffe, I think, boys.
Yeah, look, obviously she's gone up 8 rating points as well, so she's gone up another 4 kilos. She should be really sitting at 54.5 if she didn't run second. Like, she was a bit unlucky as well. Look, we know it's a few of these horses are stepping stone for the Herbie Dyke, but Jaffe from barrier 5, if she can sort of be just in front of midfield, I think she'll be winning on Saturday.
No doubt it'll be a stepping stone for her too. I mean, she is top level. She's a super horse. She comes in 1.5 kilograms better than Vencedor, having beaten him home last time out. But it's sort of writing off Vencedor. He's back in distance, back in grade. But this is where he, you know, as we said, you go back to what he did last year. He just destroyed them in this race.
Yeah, he really did. So let's find out from Ash Tompkinson just how he's going compared to this time last year.
Yeah, he's just had a hard season, I'd say, but you know, I wouldn't take him out of contention of the race on Saturday. He's going really well at home. Shanawaz is happy with him, so yeah, he'll hopefully be back to his form on Saturday.
We know he sort of often carries a bit of condition. Have you kept the work up to him leading in?
Yeah, he's loving his work going in, so yeah, we've pumped the work in and he's looking mint.
Okay, there's a few in that race for the stable. Super Photon, what can you tell us about this one?
Yeah, I wouldn't take too much from his last start. It just got a bit tricky for him up the straight, but yeah, he should be. He's another contender too, so yeah, lovely horse.
He was terrific at Tauranga a couple of starts back, and he's well in at the weights. What can you expect of him?
Yeah, I'd say he'd be really hard to beat in this race, so yeah.
The others here, Ash Mercurial, how's he going?
Yeah, it's super. You know, he's just not really got to his form that we know that he has had in the past. So, but yeah, he's going really well. We've freshened him up over some pony jumps, and should be away on Saturday. Okay,
and Takeshi, pretty consistent as well. This is a bit of a step up for this horse, but obviously with the ability.
Yeah, he's got heaps of ability. Super pleased with his last few runs. So, yeah, he should be there as well.
They'll know the masked contenders are there. They'll also know this if Mia is there too, though, in Moxie. Of course, she's on the quick backup for Ken Harrison. Let's see how she's tracking.
Yeah, she seems to have come through fine. Yeah, just thought we'd try backing her up going into the fortnight's time at Wairiri. That seems a good race for her.
Sectionally, she looked terrific last week. How did you assess her performance?
Yeah, I would just like to have got a little bit closer right at the start, first couple of 100 metres. If you had pushed in front of that one that was holding her out, but closed off very well.
Yeah, what have you done with the training this week? I guess not too much.
No, not a lot. She's coming to the track tomorrow for a bit of a run around, but she's just been working quietly on the treadmill at home.
And what about for her? You know, she's 53 kilograms in a race that's got a few Group 1 winners in there. What can you expect of her this weekend?
Yeah, I think she's not far away from the top ones, I don't think. She'll battle on pretty good, I think.
Certainly tries hard. I know we've seen this race a couple of times already, but let's take a look at it again. The Aotearoa Classic, she was really good sectionally.
Yeah, obviously they went quite hard up front, and look, from barrier 16, Logan had to sort of take his medicine and went back. Look, she maps this week from barrier 7 to get a lot sort of better trip. She loves Ellerslie. she's only got 53 kilos.
She had to cover a lot of ground on that home bend as well. Like, you know, this is a run of real merit when you consider she's still running the quickest closing sectionals and the extra ground she's had to cover in doing it as well. She's going really well, and as Ken said in that interview, $350,000 Wairere Falls Classic coming up in a couple of weeks in Matamata. She'll be primed for that, but can be competitive here too.
Look, I just think the form stacks up everywhere you look at it that evening, especially that particular race. I think that was a really serious horses race, and I'd have to say Moxie on review again of that particular race, and you have to go through it 800 times to work it all out, was very, very good. That said, Jaffe's probably in this race to be winning in my mind. She always needs a little bit of luck. If she gets it, I think the Cambridge roll of Karaka will continue on Saturday out of Ellerslie.
Yeah, I'm with you as well, Bevan. I thought Jaffe, she's due a winning turn. She's been going super. A lot of respect for Moxie though, so maybe just a little Quinella.
Yeah, it's not a bad little race. This maybe a little bit stronger than when Vencedor won it by 5 lengths last year. I'm going with the boys as well. I'm with Jaffe. You know, my opinion of her. I think she's absolute top class. So yeah, she's nicely placed in this one.
Yeah, she really is. And then the last race that we want to take a look at is the Open over the 2,200 metres here in Kiwi Skyhawk, $3.10 favourite. Then you've got Tees at $3.90, the Underbelly at $7.50 in Maldini. I mean, it's come up a good field. You'd expect that being an open race. Leith, who's the one for you?
Very even race. I thought Cinnamon desperately unlucky last start. Step up to the 2,200 metres is going to really suit him. Good field though.
Yeah, really good field. This is a key lead up, I guess, into things like Auckland Cups and things upcoming. I'm sticking with the same stable as you, but going to Kiwi Skyhawk, I thought was terrific. Winning at Tauranga last time out, just rates really well from the minimum. Just a bit of a tricky barrier draw, but there's a few facing wide draws in this one as well.
I think with Tees, I don't think you saw the real version of Tees at Ellerslie on the 1st of January. He just wasn't himself. I've spoken to Kelly. He said he just didn't feel the same. He was just flat throughout, and he was only beaten 3.5 lengths. I think if the real version turns up, he's very, very difficult to beat. I will say, and this is just a suggestion, I saw Thongai Hu work yesterday. And it's clearly just mental with him because his work was outstanding. I think Dux is up there from the same stable. He gave that a cold. He's at 40s. If you put it all together, he's well capable of doing something on Saturday.
Maybe with a little gold coin, I think the Bevan like it. What else can we follow on the programme, Leith?
Look, I'm going to take to race 2. It's a strong maiden race, but Wolfgod just put a line for his last run. Nothing went right, and he got eased down by the jockey, and I know the stable, you know, they rate him highly, and he's at 20s and $5 a place. It's a great each way chance.
Mine take this race 3. Just it's a tricky one again because General Minari, Panther both in Friday and Saturday. But I've gone outside them, gone to Scalera, who was a winner on debut, second placings in each of the last 2. Thought their second and behind Drops of God last time out was a good one. Drops of God, another horse to really follow out of Karaka Millions night as well. So yeah, from barrier 3 looks to get a really soft run. Bevan, for you?
I'm going to go with an OTI horse in race number 6. Axel was only 4 lengths off affirmative action here at Ellerslie a couple of runs ago. Ran second last start at Tauranga. I just think there's enough improvement. O.P. Boston aboard. Gate's a little bit awkward, but going with Axel for the Alexanders is my best of the rest.
Okay, hopefully we've given you a nice fill-up at Ellerslie and Trentham, and now it's time to turn our attention down south. We look forward to the Gore Guineas this weekend. So, Aidan, weather and track, what are we expecting?
Yeah, remember Pivotal 10 bouncing out of this one into NZB Kiwi last year after what was a terrific performance. Soft 7 at the moment, no rain coming. It should be upgraded from there. Looks to be nigh on perfect.
Perfect. All right, race number 7 is the feature, the Liquorland Gore Guineas, and up the top of the book is Miss Starlight at $3.90 for the Parsons, A Lot of Go at $6, and Cool as a Rain at $6.50. A lot of them are coming out of this race. We want to show you here the listed air freight stakes where Miss Starlight was good. She wanted to over-race. She ended up opting to take out the lead and just picked up by a nice run there coming down the outside.
Yeah, it's a good form race. Obviously, Miss Starlight, she's been going super at the moment. She's drawn to get a sort of nice sort of run in the race as well. She's going to be on speed, so I thought this was a really strong addition of the Gore Guineas actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool Leathering wasn't bad, just closing it down on the inside. This is Bobby McGee coming down the outside, but nice run from Miss Starlight. The one concern is like that was 1400 metres and maybe she was just sort of peaking, so the extra distance may be some sort of concern, but she's definitely good enough. And yeah, this is Key Bevan. We've got a couple of nice runners here, a lot to go, just chasing home the two Tiaka horses, Cool Leathering and Maricopa Falls in this exhibition gallop.
Here we go, team. Don't take any notice that we're a lot of goers in this. $6 again. They're giving you an opportunity again. He's just there for a little bit of a look around. I thought his trial was very good. I think he finishes a lot closer in the Guineas if it doesn't pour with rain and hail and snow and whatever else went on the day. He was only beaten 6 lengths. He's a serious horse. Look, they want to get him up north at some stage. I think he'll be really competitive on loving $6. About my own fave a lot ago.
Yeah, I'm with you, Bevan, as well. He just hated that sort of wet track, and even that track gallop that you saw that he was uncomfortable. Look, I think he's great value at 6s as well.
Yep, first run since that Guineas. The 6th horse home was Professional Lad, who won so well last week as well. Has had that exhibition gallop, had a trial, was only beaten ahead leading in. So, yeah, I'm on board this time, guys. I'm gonna join you on the a lot to go train.
I like it. $6, that'll do me. What about something else on this program? I know you've done your form.
I'd get the dartboard and just start throwing numbers out, I think. Missing Z race 4. Look, home track, she should be going close.
I like it.
You say that, Leith, but I know how in depth you do your form. I've gone Palace Princess in the 4th, winner of 2 of the last 3. The Kura round was fantastic, scored by 3.5 lengths, pretty clinical win. So I was that way. Bevan, I know you wouldn't have got the dart out.
Oh, it's great to have you back, Leith. We love it. Monaghan Bay in the last on the program. I'm going with Kelvin Tyler. I think he gets into this race perfectly. He doesn't win too much out of turn, getting a 3 kilo claim in the last on the program down to 57. So Monaghan boy for me in the last.
You waited a win by margin too. All right, from there it's time for our bank builders. So we're also looking to try and build that nice and early. You are always first.
Yeah, look, I'll go race 1 at Wellington, the Trelawney stud owned Miss Jones. You're getting an odd surge of $2.15. So look, she's got 58 kilos, but I think she'll be winning the first in Wellington.
Okay, I'm heading to Te Rapa on Friday for a horse called La Jux. Cartier, Danny Walker, Aaron Tata prepare. Unbeaten in 3 trials. The most recent trial, the second horse has won nicely. Another trial horse from that trial's run second, so I like it.
Oh, bank builder. I might change to Harvey Wallbanger, sorry.
There we go.
Harvey will be winning at Ellerslie.
I'm going to have a double-pronged attack at this. I'm going to Te Rapa in race number 4. Not sure what's going on. Panther has been back from 6 to 350. No jockey listed. General Minari has Rory aboard. It's drifted from 370 out to 380. So I'll go Panther if it starts. I'll go General Minari if it doesn't in race number 4 out of Te Rapa Friday.
Okay, I like that. Doubling up, and that means we're taking you to another break. Off the other side, we will be finding you our best bets, brought to you by My Racehorse. Pleasure to have your company here on the forum. And before we tell you what we're liking for the weekend, let's find out what our trainer's like.
We'll go back with Unos Dos Tres Cuatro in race 1 at Te Rapa.
Roaring BB, Te Rapa.
We're pretty confident General Minari is going to run really well on Friday in the 65-12.
I would go with Takashi.
Yeah, a tough weekend of racing. I really like Queen's Evidence. I think she's gone on from that win at Wanganui and finds a nice race down there at Trentham, and she's a talented filly on her day.
Have to be Dubai Gold in that race.
Just call me Johnny if he gets in the Remutaka.
I think I went Harvey Wallbanger last time, and I think I'll have to go him again on Saturday. I think he's due a bit of luck, and if he gets that, he should be winning.
Yeah, I think we'll go for Esperanza. She's been a bit unlucky in her last couple of runs, and in what looks a strong field, should be good value.
Probably have to say Victorious Warrior at Ellerslie on Saturday. Moxie, of course.
I'd have to say Flanagan. Yeah, she's going well.
Okay, so that's what our trainers are liking. And Jennian, there you go, Bevan, in race number 4 for Andrew Scott. So that was another one there out of Te Rapa, and a Roaring BB for Ben Foot. That'll be interesting because I'll talk about my best very shortly.
Dubai Gold's a decent chance, I tell you, in that Remutaka. Look, at Group 1 Oaks runner-up, just beautifully placed in there. I know we didn't really give it much of a say earlier on, but she's a really handy horse and she's dropping out of a Group 2.
And we love Pam's tips on the
Yeah,
form,
we do,
you know,
we
so
do.
we like to follow her. Speaking of tips, of course, we're up against the leg up, and unfortunately, Bevan, we need a Hail Mary from you, please. Get us out and get us the win. What are you liking? We're up against this week, Stephen, is it?
Well, you leave the best for last, though, as Tell Me and Father Time might come to the rescue. We're behind, so I need to get around about 1,500. I've got a pretty good idea of what Hunty will do. And it better not be Unusual Invader. $7 Unusual Invader, crazy money when I sent through the bets last night. Look, to be honest, it has been backed a fair bit into a lot of go at 225. I put the whole 100 on for 15.75. I reckon Hunty will be around Precursor. He really likes the John Barry horse in the last. We'll see what happens. Best of luck. They'll get no luck if I have to cook for them.
I was going to say best of luck to us. Right, time for Best Bets, brought to you by My Racehorse. Leith, who's your best?
Yeah, I'll go Miss Jones, race 1, Cody Coltrane runner. Getting the odd surge of $2.15. Look, she was super last start. I know she's got 58 kilos, but she will be winning race 1 on Saturday.
I'm heading to the feature at Ellerslie, the Colin Jillings Classic, and especially with the scratching of Teal and Quintra. I found it a really hard week until that scratching made this a little bit easier. I'm going with Harvey Wallbanger. Just think beautifully placed here, and surely this is the right time. And like that, Pikey's on, so I'm back on side. I'm back in Pikey. That's my best bet. Like that, Bevan.
I'll stick with Unusual Invader. What really gets me is this horse was massive at Trentham, but the Allred family, they're normally sellers. Well, they're not getting rid of this horse, Unusual Invader. They're keeping it around. There's been money around for it. They clearly think a lot of it, and I think it's very tough to beat at that $7 quote.
And I'm taking you to Te Rapa, race number 2. This runner here, Deep Pursuit, took a very good horse to get him on the line in Sati at Tauranga for Tony Pike. I know he's been a long time maiden, but I think with Opie Boston aboard, there's been a little bit of money. I think he can get the win on Friday in race 2. He is in race number 9, but I think he'll be starting in the 2nd. Here is a summary. The Wales with Bazooka at Addington to kick us off. There's the rest of ours. Hopefully we've found you plenty of winners this weekend, because that does complete the form. Nice to have you back, Leith. As always, a pleasure. Aidan and Bevan, we'll catch you back next week, and until then, enjoy all of the action.
Very good.